Hello everyone! The Burning Legion has invaded Azeroth once again, and hunters are able to pick up 3 different artifacts to empower them in this war. For Marksman Hunters, it's Thas'dorah, Legacy of the Windrunners, a bow passed down for generations within the Windrunner family. The last one to be seen with it was Arator Windrunner, but she has been seen for a very long time. The short version behind that story is that when the Alliance of Lordaeron was formed to fight against the first Orcish Horde invasion, Arator decided to join them, and within the army was Tyrellian, who fell head over heels for the elf, and she eventually warmed up to him. The Horde teamed up with the Trolls and eventually tried to take her homeland of Quel'Thalas, but they had magical defenses in place that defended their lands. The Orcs did have dragons though, and despite being unable to take their land, they did burn down a big portion of Quel'Thalas and they murdered 18 of her kin, including her younger brother Lyra. Alleria was devastated and a burning hatred took place in her heart. When the Horde returned for a second round, she once again joined Tyrellian and the Sons of Lothar in their war against the Orcs, which took them all the way through the Dark Portal and into Draenor. She became reckless in her search for revenge until she was able to confess her emotions to Tyrellian. That she was unable to grieve for her fallen brothers and sisters, for to do so would mean having to accept the reality of them really being gone. She tells Tyrellian, who had ordered her to stay behind, that she can't stay behind, she won't stay behind and see another loved one die, and then she was finally able to grieve. The romance that had been building up between these two for a very long time was now allowed to flourish, and they vowed to each other to never leave each other behind. The battle was eventually won. Ner'zhul did make his portals across Draenor, causing Draenor to become incredibly unstable and destroy itself. Khadgar was forced to seal the Dark Portal from their side to protect Azeroth from the destruction, and our heroes hid away in one of the rifts created by Ner'zhul. When they returned, Draenor had been transformed into Outland as we see it today, and the world thought that they had died until the Dark Portal reopened during Burning Crusade. We found Khadgar and we found other members of the Sons of Lothar, but there was no sign of Alleria and Tyrellian. Not even their son was able to find them, and for years, fans speculated on what might have happened to them. It seems that Alleria's sister Varisa has found some information, not only to find her sister, but also their family heirloom.
This stinks of a trap. You can't rely on the word of a demon.
If it's lying, we'll have its head. But if there's even a chance it speaks the truth, we have to try. My eldest sister, Alleria, has been missing for years. A demon we captured claims she is being held on a Legion world called Niskara by some sort of Inquisition. Her return would be invaluable.
Admitted, Varisa. This mission is personal.
Alleria's knowledge about the Legion could help us defeat them once and for all. Our goal is to reacquire a strategic asset. Nothing more.
I should be going with you. If this is a trap, you need my bow covering your backs.
No, Orestes. I won't risk anyone else until we're certain Alleria's there. I do not trust the demon's word. But this might be our only chance to retrieve a valuable ally.
Those that play during Mr. Pandaria, you might remember Varisa, Jaina and the Silver Covenant kicking the Horde out of Dalaran for stealing the Divine Bell and hating the Horde for what they did to Faramir. Varisa especially lost a whole lot during that attack, since it was her husband Ronin who drew the mana bomb into himself to minimize the explosion and casualties. With that history, you might wonder how Horde hunters get their weapon, but there's a minor difference in the dialogue. For Alliance players, she says, "You've been long trusted hero of the Alliance, and like the rest of us, you've endured many hardships to reach this point. Now I must ask even more of you. Will you hear me out?" And for the Horde, she says, "As you well know, I have opposed the Horde at many turns. The Orcs have taken so much from me, from my family, yet I witnessed your deeds firsthand, Name. I have seen you fight for Azeroth time and time again. And like the rest of us, you've endured many trials and hardships to reach this point. Now I must ask your help. Will you hear me out?"
Mage's Soul Gaze. Empower the portal crystal.
Never was very good at following orders. See you on the other side.
Orestes, you fool! Now we have 2 allies to rescue. Follow me in! No sign of Orestes. He's headstrong, but should have the sense to wait here for us. Let's ascend the rise ahead and see what we're up against. A sentry. Destroy it before it warns the others.
Summoners, open a portal! We need reinforcements!
We go through the portal and we end up on the planet of Nishkara. A lot of classes go here for either artifacts or campaigns, but not much history is known behind this place. I've seen a whole lot of demons getting their asses kicked, I've seen victims of the Inquisition from all kinds of races, and of course, the Inquisition itself, which seems to be bent on gaining information and torturing their victims. I'm hoping that once I've played through everything that the pieces will come together, but for now, that's pretty much all I know.
Keep moving! That was only the first! The Legion must be stopped. Portal mages! Take them out before they bring reinforcements!
You survived the summoners. Such determination. A pity you won't live to experience our glorious cathedral.
That structure in the distance must be the cathedral. Lead on. I'm with you. There, up ahead. It's Orestes.
Baladash,
Orestes!
Malinari. Beware, the Hound Mistress.
How convenient. Your little group will make an excellent meal for my hounds!
Witch. I'll gut your beasts and take your head for what you've done!
Hardly more than a morsel. But I suppose you'll have to do. But who will feed my darlings?
We'll get you out of here, Orestes. Any sign of Valeria?
No, but didn't make it to the cathedral. Wounds bad. It's so cold.
Orestes. Try to... Orestes!
Good luck, friends. Save Valeria.
Rest in the light, Orestes.
You believe yourselves worthy to enter the cathedral? Then come forth and be tested.
Come. Let's find Valeria and finish this.
Rest in peace. And that cathedral that they mentioned is actually a Legion spaceship. As we make our way forward and we take down Herald Zarbazalt, let's talk a little bit about the history of Thas'dorah. This bow was crafted to aid in the defense of the Highborn Kingdom, but over the course of its storied history, the weapon became so much more. After the War of the Ancients, the Highborn refused to give up their magic, which the Night Elves no longer wanted around because it had drawn the attention of the Legion and it caused the war to begin with. Instead of executing them all, exile was the chosen option, and the Highborn set sail to a new home for themselves within the Eastern Kingdoms, and they created their beautiful city of Silvermoon near their Sunwell, a fount of pure arcane power created from waters from the original Well of Eternity. The Kingdom of Quel'Thalas rose over the lands as a shining monument of the glorious civilization that had once surrounded the shores of the Well of Eternity. As the Sunwell's magic radiated outward through Eversong Woods, the forest's oldest trees began to absorb its energy. The massive tree was named Tashala, the light of the forest. From its enchanted branches, the entire region seemed to be bathed in the glow of eternal spring. This bow would be made from Tashala's woods, and it would bear the legacy of a highborn family whose members showed heroism for thousands of years. The highborn elves, or high elves of Quel'Thalas, had fended off constant attacks from Amani trolls. To keep their enemies at bay, they constructed a series of runestones that acted as wards against intruders, and it also hid the elves' use of arcane magic from the Burning Legion. And this magical protection was also what had kept the hordes out during Aleria's days. The wards succeeded in keeping their enemies out of Silvermoon, in part due to the anchor. The elven arcanist had linked the runestones to Tashala, tying the power of natural magic to their arcane spells. However, the tree's power could not keep the Highborn safe when they left their city. For that, they needed skilled fighters. The Amani trolls were wary of launching direct attacks on Silvermoon. The elves' magic kept them at bay for several millennia, but eventually the trolls lashed out again. The conflict would become known as the Troll Wars, and the death toll rose quickly. An order of fighters, called Rangers, was founded to defend Quel'Thalas. The greatest of these early rangers was Thas'dorah Windrunner, a master of archery and ranged combat. He swiftly rose in the ranks and was named the first Ranger General of Silvermoon for his bravery and valor. The leaders of Silvermoon commemorated the occasion by declaring that their champion be given a weapon befitting his new status. A trio of skilled artisans joined together to create a great bow for Thas'dorah. They carved his body from a limb taken from Thas'dorah and infused the wood with the waters of the Sunwell. Immersed in arcane power, the bow began to change. It was hardened, becoming nearly indestructible, and yet it still maintained its connection to the natural magics of Thas'dorah. It's interesting how they combine again nature with arcane, something that we also see happening in the Nightborn quest chain. When it was retrieved from the Sunwell, the bow radiated power. Thas'dorah was humbled by the gift. He named the weapon Thas'dorah, Valor of the Forest. He promised that as long as this weapon protected the Highborn lands, Silvermoon would never fall. Thas'dorah made good on his promise. The Amani trolls soon learned to fear the sight of his bow, for if they were caught a glimpse of it, they were within its range. They were forced to retreat, allowing the High Elves to settle deeper into the forest. Thas'dorah's Windrunner became a legend for his part in securing the land of Quel'Thalas for generations to come, while Thas'dorah remained within the Windrunner bloodline for thousands of years. The family dedicated their lives to the defense of Quel'Thalas, and in each generation, one of them would carry the bow into the forest to drive away any interlopers. Because Thas'dorah never left the region, it continued to bask in the radiant magic of the Sunwell and the surrounding forests. Slowly but surely, the bow was seasoned in a way no one could have anticipated, and its strength only increased. Even after the Troll Wars drew to a close, Thas'dorah helped repel countless enemy incursions. Now a few years before the Horde invaded Azeroth, the Ranger General of Silvermoon was Lyrissa Windrunner, who had 3 daughters, Illyria, Sylvanas, and Verissa. As the eldest, Illyria was to take on the mantle of Ranger General, but she had little use for tradition or expectations. She decided to apply her training to practical matters, so she became a Farstrider, a member of a group of rangers focused on fighting for the Highborn all across Azeroth. She made a name for herself after a number of quick, decisive victories, while her sister Sylvanas, she would be the one to rise to leadership in her stead. Thas'dorah remained in Lyrissa's hands. It would not be passed on to Illyria until tragedy struck. Lyrissa was among those of Illyria's kin that were killed by the Horde, and Sylvanas would become the new Ranger General, but she decided to pass on Thas'dorah to her older sister Illyria. Sylvanas needed to help secure Quel'Thalas, but she trusted that Illyria, a Farstrider, would have better opportunities to exact vengeance on the front lines. She would be correct, and as I mentioned at the start, eventually the bow, Illyria, and Trellian disappeared.
I give my life for the Inquisition. So much to rescue your precious Illyria. Come forth and reap your reward. The Inquisition sees all, every truth, every lie.
If Valeria is here, she must be close. Up ahead. That looks like the interrogation area. What have you done with Ilaria, monster?
Another Windrunner for my collection.
Greetings.
Oh, the secrets you'll confess to me.
Forget about me! Save Ilaria! We stand together.
This Ner'zhul should prove useful until she breaks.
Baladash,
You,
Malin.
however, well, every mortal life must end.
He's tearing into my mind!
You refuse to surrender. How splendid. We did not anticipate the High Elf would bring along so persistent an ally. Another will take my place.
I felt those eyes peering into my soul. Had you not freed me, Enough. I must know if Ilaria was truly held captive here, or if this was all a ruse to trap us. Was she here for days? Years? Centuries? The mage was right. Time has little meaning in this place. By the light. There! It's her bow! Thas'dorah! Alaria was here. Her bow's presence is the proof. Doubtless she escaped, and the Inquisitor sought to use me to lure her back. Thas'dorah began as my family's legacy, but now this weapon has a greater purpose. This is a bow worthy of a hero like Alaria. A hero like you. Take Thas'dorah, champion. Use it to lead the fight to save Azeroth.
We don't know how, or why, or when, or for how long Alaria might have been here, but she was here. We can only wonder what the Legion might have done to her, and hopefully we'll get some answers in this expansion.
I know Alaria's bow is in the right hands.
Find the invaders! Retake the Cathedral! Slaughter them all!
Sounds like we're about to be overrun. Let us leave this wretched place to the demons.
Goralix the Flesh Ripper shows up. Time to evacuate the planet and let Death Knights have their fun. Just as Thas'dorah has absorbed power from its native realm, it has drunk deeply of the chaotic magic swirling through the nether. Its arrows grew more potent, more accurate and more lethal against the minions of the dark. The bow has become a symbol of the war against the Legion, a means to rally the greatest hunters of Azeroth against the demon horde.
Ranger General Windrunner, did you find...
Alaria was gone, but we recovered Thas'dorah. It is now in the hands of our champion.
Amazing! The bow will inspire every ranger who sees it.
Sadly, Orestes was lost. I should send word to Halderon. Come, Larkspur.
At once!
And that's how Marksman Hunters obtain the artifact and wield it in the war against the Legion as they adventure through the Broken Isles. However, those are a story for another day. So for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, guys. See ya!
Thas'dorah, may my aim be true. I have not seen it in years. That's a Windrunner family heirloom you have slung across your back. My mother passed it down to my eldest sister. May it bring you better fortune than it did her. Remember, champion, that Thas'dorah represents my family's legacy. My legacy. The deeds you perform while wielding it reflect upon me. It is fitting that the bow be in the hands of so skilled a marksman. I trust you will remain worthy of it. Do not disappoint me.